Okay. Have you ever dated someone that looks good on paper, but something just kind of feels off about them? Okay, so today let's talk about some of these subtle signs that show that a man is not ready for like a serious relationship, especially after the age of 40. Now, some of these signs are not obvious. That's why effective communication is necessary. And I get it. A lot of women don't want to talk about these deep things, but they have to be talked about. Otherwise, you're going to waste your time in a relationship you have no business being in. You see, we're going into 2025. So the truth of the matter is, ladies, you have to decide in your mind to make that New Year's resolution that you're no longer going to spend more than 2 years in a relationship with especially if you want it to go any further, but the man hasn't said anything to you yet about that. Let's talk about it today, ladies, okay? So first of all, I want to ask you something. If a man just continues to talk and talk and talk frequently about his ex, and then it almost feels like you're competing with this imaginary person, it truly means that, he hasn't gotten over his past relationship. So he's not going to necessarily be emotionally available to you. That is a red flag. You do this is what I would suggest that you do. You can ask him something like, "Oh, do you feel like you fully moved on from your previous relationship?" Ask him that open-ended question and wait and see what he says. Okay? Whatever he says should at least hint to you where he is with you, if he's serious or not. Okay? Now, moving along to the second red flag that I want to share with you all today. If he avoids long-term plans, that is a huge red flag. Something more like, if he's like the fun guy, or he's like the here and now guy, he can't commit to like all these plans that maybe you would say, okay, in a couple of weeks, we're going to do this. In a few weeks, we're going to do that. He can't even commit to that. That's a red flag, ladies. If he says to you, "Oh, I'm not looking for something serious now," then that means you got to jump ship. It means you got to go, especially ladies, if you are looking for something serious. And he verbally says it to you, and don't wait for him to say it to you. You have to be asking these things. That's why effective communication is highly important, so that you don't waste your time. Something you're not going to do in 2025 is wasting your time in any relationship. I'm not suggesting you get in and you get out. I'm not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is, after 2 years, come on now, ladies, the man got to know, you got to know if both of you want to be in a relationship or not. And you can't just think he wants to be. You have to ask him, and you have to hear him verbally say it. Don't be assuming things for him. Make sure that he verbally says to you that, yes, you are the one I want to be in a relationship. And ladies, if you want marriage, you got to make sure that he says it with his own mouth, that marriage is something he wants, and he can see it happening in the near future. Okay? So you have to make sure that, you can at least tell him that, "Oh, I'm looking for someone who's interested in building a future together," and ask him, "Do you see yourself building a future together with me?" Put that question to him. Sit back and listen to what he has to say to you. Your questions to the man that you're in a relationship with, or you want to be in a relationship with, your questions to him, most of them have to be open-ended. That gives him a time to express himself, and it gives you more time to listen to what he has to say and decipher his message and decide, is this something I want to continue with him or not? Because I see a lot of women, especially Black women, just wasting time in these relationships and blaming the man. Well, it's only half his fault. You have to take accountability too, because you're responsible for wasting, your time and effort that you put into, whatever relationship that you're in. You're responsible for that as well. It can't just be on the man. So I'm giving you tips. I'm giving you these red flags to notice and how to fix it and what to do, so that you don't spend or waste so much time in a relationship that's not going anywhere if he is not ready for a relationship. Because remember, ladies, we're over the age of 40. The clock is ticking and time is going, okay? And you have to treat this whole thing with intentionality. I'm not saying rush into it, but I'm not saying sit back and fold your arms either. I'm saying you have to be emergently intentional about your ways. Okay, I know what I'm saying now because I've been down that road. So I know exactly what I'm saying is exactly the things that I did. And I'm trying to help you all ladies out there. Okay. The third red flag is he's hot and cold at the same time. That's what some of my friends call it. He's hot and cold at the same time. One day he's showering you with gifts and affection, and then the next day he's totally distant from you. Oh my God. You can't tell me that is not common, ladies. You can't tell me you haven't seen that in some of these men that you've been in relationships with. It goes to show you that man is not ready. That man is not ready. He has to be able to blend those two together and not be, one day he's all sweet and loving, and the other day he pretends like he doesn't even know who you are. He pretends like you're not in this relationship thing with him. That shows that he's not ready for anything long term, let alone marriage. Okay. And some things like, if you start talking to him about commitment, he starts giving you some of these responses that have no head or tail. Ladies, that man is not ready for you. He's not ready to commit. So you have to almost jump ship, or how this is what I would pretty much just say to women. You have to pay attention to his patterns. Don't just fall in love with the periods of time that he's very loving and affectionate. Pay attention to his patterns. You have to be able to decode his patterns and just be able to understand, hey, this man is with me for the long committed term, or he's not with me. And always get that verbal confirmation, ladies. You always have to get the verbal confirmation from a man that he is committing to you or not. And so that you can make your own, educated plan and exit. So you're not spending 4, 5, 6, 10 years with a guy that just doesn't commit to you. All right, ladies, we're doing things spanking brand new this 2025 so that you can get into a relationship that you desire for yourself, and you can grow from there until you end up making your transition from planet Earth. Okay, that's what we're doing on this channel. The fourth red flag I have for you is just he's overly focused on his career and his hobbies. I'm not saying he's focused. I'm saying he's overly focused. Because the truth of the matter is, ladies, men have to be focused on their careers. Yes, indeed, they do. And they have to intertwine their hobbies inside of their careers. Their career is their purpose. Okay, so you can't take that away from him. That's what makes a man a manly man. That's what makes a man desirable by you. So by all means, do not stop the man that is focused and organized, and he knows how to strategize. He's on his path, or some men have already reached their path and they're doing other things to further improve themselves. Ladies, that's why you got attracted to him in the first place. But listen to this. If he is overly, where it's a little overboard now, where he doesn't, he's not including you in his plans. He's not stopping every now and then for a few moments to include you into his life, into what he's doing. That is a big red flag. Just respectfully and humbly bow out of that situation, because it's not going anywhere into anything committed, especially if time and time again you've tried to pull him and say, hey, sir, mister, where are we? What are we doing? Are we good together? Are we committed? Are we not committed? Let me know right now. And he just, yeah, I'm so busy. I don't have time to sit and talk. No, I don't care how focused that man is on his purpose. He has to be able to take out a few minutes of his time and have good, effective conversation with you. That way you can know where both of you stand in that situation or in that relationship or whatever, you call it, especially if you want it to be committed. There has to be time spent with you from that man so that you can know where you guys stand. Number 5, red flag, ladies. Listen to this one carefully because it can be very tricky. There's a fine line in this one. He avoids being vulnerable. Now, I get it. In my previous video, I did say that It's not good for men to be overly vulnerable. It's not even good for them to be vulnerable with women, because once men become vulnerable with women, and once they cross that thin threshold of opening up and being vulnerable to women, then us women are just eventually going to lose all hope and respect for that man. Yes, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Men operate better with women if women just ask them direct questions. If you're expecting that man to put his head on your lap and just open up and be all emotional with you, ladies, that's not what we want. We say we want that, but that is not truly what we need. We don't need that, because it messes up our whole relationship dynamics in the long run. And that's not what we're looking for. Men tend to do better in relationships if you ask direct questions. So, ladies, whatever questions you think you have about, your relationship, or whatever you're thinking about your man that you need clarity, don't expect him to be all emotional with you or be all vulnerable with you. Instead, ask the man direct questions. Men love it when you ask them direct questions. Instead of telling them or trying to make them be all mushy and emotional with you. It's not going to work out, ladies, in the long run, because truthfully, that's not what us women need. We don't need a vulnerable man. We don't need an emotional man. We need a man that when we ask direct questions about what his feelings are, then he can give us his best direct answer. And ladies, take that answer and make of it what you want it to be, and stop hounding and pounding on that man. Oh, you need to open up more to me and this, that, and the other. Just ask the man direct questions and he will open up to you. But don't expect him to be all emotional, mushy, and vulnerable. No, just take whatever answer he gives you, take it and decide what you're going to do with it. Okay, ladies? Number 6 red flag is he's still living like he's in his 20s. Oh my God, he's partying hard here. Oh my God, and he's partying there. And oh my God, wherever the wind blows, where there's something going on, there's a party here. And whatever. It's like, oh my God. He does not show signs of taking responsibility for himself. He has that player mindset. Big red flag. That means that he's not ready for something real or something long term with you. You got to be able to see these red flags. And, yeah, I get it. Us women, we want the fun guy. But at what point does the fun guy become not so fun anymore? That's his fun has gone so much overboard that all he does is fun things. And the real responsibilities of life, he doesn't take care of them because he's so busy having fun. Where's the cutoff, ladies? You have to be able to know where that cutoff is. And I'm giving it to you. When he's avoiding responsibility of his life, and it almost seems like he has that player mindset, big red flag. He's not ready for anything real. He's not ready for anything long term. If he seems like he's living like a bachelor, even though you guys are together, but it's almost like he's living this bachelor lifestyle, and he's just stuck in like this single carefree mindset. Ladies, you gotta take note about that. He's not ready for anything long term. You have to be able to just wish him the best and just respectfully move on, because he's unlikely to change. And even if he changes in the long run, by the time he changes, ladies, you'll be 60 years old. No, you don't have time for that. You don't have time to wait with this guy until you're 60. No, just respectfully bow out and tell him, peace, it was nice knowing you. How about that? Now we're going to move to the last and final red flag. Number 7 red flag is he's not interested in meeting your friends or your family, or he doesn't want to introduce you to his friends and his family. Ladies, I don't know. Check that out very well, because that most likely could be a red flag. If the man is so into you and he's so ready to commit to you, he would want you to meet his people, and he would want to meet your people. Like if you say something like, oh, it's important to me, dear, that you meet my family and friends. What do you think? He should be able to give you a positive answer. And if he does not give you a positive answer that sits well in your spirit, then you might want to check that out a little bit more. He's most likely not ready for you. He may be ready for a relationship, but not with you. So you got to check that out. Okay, ladies. Like I said in the beginning, some of these red flags are subtle. So along the way, conversation along the way. Every now and then you sit down and you converse with him, or in passing, converse with him. Get those solid answers. Don't just get a flyby passing answer. Get solid, concrete, concise responses from him. That'll let you know where he is and where you stand in his life. Because if you want something committed and you're not feeling like he's committing to you, or he doesn't verbally say that he's committing to you, time to jump ship, ladies, and move on, because you're going to be wasting your time with that man. 2 years should be your cutoff. By 2 years, you and the man should know where you stand, and you guys should be able to verbally express your commitment to one another. Otherwise, it's time to go, ladies, because remember, you're over 40 years old. You don't have that much time. You have time, but you don't have time. Because remember, in 2025, you're going to be intentional about the relationships that you're going to be having out there, and especially if you want to get married. Okay, I'm not saying that women over 40 cannot get married. I'm saying they can, but if you are not intentionally seeking the type of committed relationship you want in a marriage, then you're going to be wasting your time, and you're going to be 50, 60, 70 years old talking about, oh, men are this, men are that, men are dusty, men are... No, they're not. Half the time you're the issue, not even the man. But that's a video for another day. So ladies, thank you so much for staying with me for the rest of the video. Please remember to subscribe. If you are watching all my videos and you're not subscribed yet, please do me the favor. It's not going to cost you any money. Just hit the subscribe button, subscribe to my channel, like this video. Please share it with other people who you think would benefit from the things that I am teaching out here in these YouTube streets. All right, I will see you in the next video. Bye.